Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the show. It's Thab in Paris here, and I'm going to tell you about my Paris masterclass. So if you have seen another one of these videos, because I'm doing a few of them in January to promote my amazing Paris masterclass, if you've seen another one in January, you don't have to watch this. It'll be more or less the same. So first of all, I'd like to wish you a, not a happy Christmas, wish you a, where are we? There we are. Have a magical 2024. And I have been in Paris for 30 years, which is more than half my life. And I kind of think that I've sold my artistic and my creative soul to Paris. And the Eiffel Tower is my muse. And yeah, I've been here for 30 years. And even before I came to Paris, I was kind of obsessed by it, which is why I came. And so for the last, 3 decades, I've been photographing Paris, reading about it, exploring it, and writing about it. And the time has come for me to share that with you. So I want to tell you all about my Paris masterclass, which is everything I know about Paris. And I would love you to join me. It's starting this month, so join now and you get the most amazing deal. There is nothing like this out there anywhere. And it's for you if you absolutely love Paris, and it's for you if you would like to get to know Paris. It's for you if you have been many, many times, and it's for you if you have never been, and even if you have no intention of coming. There are some people, my mother, she's an expert on China, Chinese politics, geopolitics, I would say. She's never been to China. So I'm going to tell you tonight what is on offer here, and there's no fancy sales techniques. I'm going to tell you immediately the price and what you get. And I think you'll know if it's for you, because, I'm not selling it to people who aren't interested in Paris. So I'm going to go through the page that I've got. Once again, I forgot to put the name of the page, which I will show you now. And I'll be telling you a little bit about myself as well as we go through. So my name is Thab in Paris, if you want the full name. And this is my Facebook page. And as you can see, well, I'm promoting this. And I publish a photograph of Paris and a text every day. So my current project, which is called the Paris Photo Chronicles, has been going on for 6 years. As you can see, I've just published this one. And you can see it says Volume 4, Book 1, Chapter 2, Chronicle 1. This is a huge project. And each volume is 2 years. So it's an 18-year project. And I've just started Volume 4. So I've just finished 6 years. That's 1/3 into this project. Before that, I did other projects. So I'm kind of obsessed by it. This is open to everyone. This isn't the masterclass, but this is just to show you how obsessed I am with anything and everything Paris. Well, I say everything, that's not quite true. I'm more into the strangeness, the odd things, the weird historical details, the amazing architecture than, let's say, fashion shops or, the best baker in Paris. I might talk about that. I might, but it's not my main focus. So let me show you a couple of things. So this is the page that you can go to. And for some reason I haven't, I'm gonna actually do this as you're watching. It's not very professional, but you need to go to parissetmefree.com/master. And actually, I may, even that isn't what I meant to do. Oh, I see what I have to do. All right. Yeah, so parissetmefree.com/master. Okay, let's see if I can get that to work. There it is. Okay, so you go here and you will see this page. And as you can see, there it is. There's the price, there's everything. So the masterclass, there are 3 masterclasses. and they last throughout the year. So first third of the year, Masterclass 1, second third, Masterclass 2, third third, Masterclass 3. When it starts, they will be €97 each. If you join now, there are two great things that you get, as well as the bonuses. You join now, and you get 3 masterclasses for the price of 1. In other words, everything. You get everything for €97. Also, you will get all of my updates. So once this year has finished, it's a year-long thing. Huh? You don't have to do the whole year, but I mean, why wouldn't you? Next year, I will continue to add, because there's no way I can give you everything in 1 year. I can give you a fantastic masterclass, but I can't tell you everything about Paris. So I will continue adding year after year. I've been here for 30 years. I'm not going anywhere. And if you join me now, this year, you will have access to all the new information that I add. So let me show you. Let me show you what you get. I'll just read this for you so that you know if this is for you or not. It says, are you a Paris aficionado, or would you love to become one? Does the secret hidden side of this incredible city intrigue you as much as the classical sights enchant? Join Paris-obsessed Brit Sab Will, that's me, 30 years here and counting, on a unique adventure. All right, so I think you know if that interests you to carry on watching. By the way, if you're watching the replay, please leave comments, say hello, ask questions. That's great. So that's telling you a bit about me, which I've kind of just told you. Then let's go down here. All right, so you get the Precious Curio Files Library. This is what the masterclass is based on. Let me show you what I mean by that. What is a curio file? All right, well, let's see if I can find a curio file. Yeah. All right, so those are 3 curio files. And a curio file is a beautifully designed PDF, which you keep, it's your library, and it details a curiosity. For example, this one here, this was the first one I ever did, actually. It's the story of the Louvre pyramid. Okay, it's an interesting story. So there's plenty of anecdotes as well as facts, and some personal stuff as well. So that tells you about the Louvre pyramid. What is it, who chose it, and what are the funny stories behind it. This one here, these are just random, you see, just randomly chosen to show you. This one here is, what is it? It's a very strange feature that you find. There's only one in the whole city, and you find it on a door in a particular place in Paris. And most people don't see it, for a start. I tell you, 95% of the interest of Paris is unseen to the innocent eye. People go to Paris, they take photographs of the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, Arc de Triomphe, let's go home. Maybe the Moulin Rouge or something like that. There's so much more. There's so much more. In fact, I'm despairing because I don't think I will ever be able to find everything that interests me, which is why I go to Paris all the time. Still, and why I'm doing this. This is where it's going to be, and you will have it all. So that's that. Okay, so strange architectural feature hiding in some street in Paris. Now here's another one. You'll notice they're different colors, by the way. That's an orange one. That's a green one, and this theme is purple. There's a reason for that. I'll tell you in a second, and I will show you some amazing Paris maps as well, just in a second. This one is. This is interesting. It's an optical illusion. It looks like there's a building here which is sinking, and that shows you where it is, and that shows you the trick as well. I won't tell you now, but you can look at it if you like later. So what does each curio file give you? And on the masterclass, you get a lot of videos, and in each video I present several curio files spoken. I'm not just going to read them. I'll give you the story behind them and so on. And we get together once a week live, so we can literally discuss together. So let me just show you the structure of this. It says first arrondissement. So Paris is divided into 20 districts. Okay, so this one says the first, this one says the 7th, this one says the 18th. So you can see that you know exactly where they are, but I mean really exactly, because unlike a lot of resources, a lot of books, they don't, I tell you exactly where it is, to the meter squared. So at the bottom here in this box, it says, where is it? You get the exact address of everything. And I hesitated before doing this because this is a lifetime's worth of wandering streets, scouring around, you know, reading books and websites and desperately trying to find all the details of some of the most obscure yet fascinating things. So I hesitated before deciding to give it all to you. You know, it's kind of, there's this feeling that it's a bit lazy, isn't it? You know, just give it to you all. The fun is in walking around. Well, you can walk around with me virtually, so I'm going to do it anyway. You can see that the curio files are very manageable. I have taken great pains to make sure that you've got, in this small amount of text, you've got the reason it's a curio, your reason it's a curiosity, the history behind it, a funny anecdote perhaps, and another bit of information to make it even richer. I'll be throwing in loads of bits of information all the time. Down at the bottom here, there's something else which says what else. It says what else. That gives you another snippet of information. You know, no, sorry, that gives you links to other curio files which are related in some way. It might be the same sort of architecture, the same sort of curiosity, the same period. I don't know. So you can zap around when you have the whole library. And then the last thing here, it says strange but true. This is another sort of funny anecdote or an odd fact. So they've all got that. Now let's have a look at the maps of Paris. So you see here it says the 1st, the 7th, the 18th. These are the districts of Paris. And Paris is divided into districts. Let me show you the first map, this map here. No, this one. Okay, here you can see, it's a bit like a snail, which is one of the reasons Paris is so fascinating. The districts, or arrondissements, as they're called, are arranged in a snail form. In other words, a spiral going out from the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it's a bit small. I'll leave it like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I've reached the outside. Okay, now we're on the outer districts. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There are also 2 woods, which are part of Paris. So they fall into it. So there will be units on the woods. There are islands, of course. There are many bridges. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So those are the 20 arrondissements. I've divided the masterclass into 3 parts, so 3 masterclasses. So I've divided, for example, the first masterclass from January, or the end of January to April, covers the first 6 arrondissements and some other things. You can see there's another map there, which gives you some more detail. By the way, have a look at one of these arrondissements. You can see it's divided into 4 parts. Can you see that? This is a very little known, not many people know this, but officially each arrondissement, each district is divided into 4 parts. Not really used much now, but I thought it was a fantastic way. Not only is it an intriguing aspect of history, but it's a great way to divide up the masterclass as well. So if we go back to the masterclass here, I'm going to start to show you what it looks like. All right, so here is masterclass 1, for example, from now-ish until April, something like that. 10 weeks with a week break in the middle, just like, you know, a term, like at school. And people appreciate the break as well. So the first week will be the history of Paris, the you know, talking about the districts, talking about how Paris came to be. So not actually focusing on a specific district. Then in week 2, we start on District 1. And District 1 has a name. Most people don't know their names either. And it has the 4 quarters. They call them quarters. I'm not talking about this like the Latin Quarter or Montmartre or something like this, which are kind of vague areas. These are the specific 4 sections in each district that I showed you. So in 1 week, I will be covering all of those 4 districts, and each district will have 2, 3, or 4 curiosities, curio files, like I showed you. So first district, week 3 is the second district. So just going back to this map here, you see a second district here. Then I think there might be a break, is there? Then the third district, the fourth district, and so on. So we wind our way out here, 5 to the 6th district. So Masterclass 1 goes up to the 6th district, and you'll see that there are some weeks where it's not focusing on a district. Well, there's 2 reasons for that. It's a 10-week masterclass. There are 3 of them, so that's 30 weeks, and there are 20 districts. So I could have spread it all out, but I thought it would be much more interesting to have weeks which are not based on districts. Look at some of the topics that are not in the individual districts. There are islands in Paris. There are 2 islands there, you can see in the middle. You can see them again there. And they do fall into the districts. They are part of districts, but I thought it would be much more interesting to treat them individually. And actually, Paris originally was part of one of those islands. That was Paris, with a wall around it. So, you know, it makes sense. The city walls. This is one of my favorite topics of all, the walls of Paris. Imagine there was a wall on one of the islands, and inside was Paris. And then Paris grew. And they thought there's too many people inside, or there's people outside, and they could be part of Paris. And so they knocked down the first wall and built a bigger one further out. Same thing happened. More and more people came to Paris. Paris got too small. They knocked that wall down and built another one. Then they knocked that one down, built another one, that one down. So there's this series of walls, kind of concentric, going out from the center, which was the island. And there are remains of these walls in one form or another around the city. It's absolutely fascinating. In fact, Paris, as we know it today, is the shape and the form it is because of the walls, and especially the final wall, which kind of defined modern Paris. So you can see how interesting that is. I will also be looking at parks. Obviously parks are in districts, but they're a fascinating topic on their own. And wow, Paris has some amazing parks. Okay, then we have a look at the 3rd district, then we have a break week, then 4th district, then we have a look at another of the islands, because there are 2 fascinating islands right in the middle of Paris, 𝗔𝗌 and 𝗅𝗢𝗔𝗐𝗔. Then bridges. I'm going to start on the bridges. Can you imagine? Guess how many bridges Paris has? I think it's about 37 at the moment. And you can imagine each bridge has a story. And it also doesn't really fall into one district because it's across the river. It might be half and half, but I'm treating them separately. Every bridge has its story, its anecdotes, and it's normally pretty fascinating. Bridges, museums. I talk about the museums. As I said, not necessarily, you know, my top 10 of the, you know, the best known ones, not necessarily. It's going to be a much more personal approach. And Paris is full of museums, including some rather strange ones. 5th and 6th districts, and then look at the island again, another island. Oh, actually, I've got 𝗘𝙧𝙚𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗔 1 and 𝗘𝙧𝙚𝗔𝗦𝗧𝗔 2. There's so much to talk about. I mean, Notre Dame is on 𝗘𝙧𝙚𝗚 for a start, and a whole bunch of other interesting stuff. The metro system, the buses and the trams, the Paris transport system is crazy. It's amazing. My son is obsessed by it. Masterclass 2. The rest of those districts, then the Petite Ceinture. This is an old abandoned train line that used to go around Paris, and the rails are still there in one form or another. And there are some wonderful vestiges of the past. Then looking at the Grand Magasin, these are the big department stores, very flashy, loads of history. And some are more bridges, the places and the squares of Paris. There are some very famous ones. There are some royal squares as well, which are a little bit different to others. The passages of Paris, those are amazing. The train stations are a topic in their own right. Fantastic, huge buildings, wonderful architecture. Architecture itself, because Paris has so many examples of many different types of architecture, from very classical, medieval, through the industrial age with lots of metal girders and things, and of course modern. So another huge topic. You can see why this is going to go on for the rest of my life. The masterclass will pull all the topics together and give it a lovely structure. But to be honest, you know, I'll be able to be adding curio files until I fall into the Seine and float down past the Eiffel Tower. You get the idea. All of the other districts here, Then, of course, there's the cemeteries. You've got more parks, city walls again. Everything will be finalized by the final masterclass. The canal, there's a beautiful canal, lovely canal that goes through Paris, which is not the same as the river. And the catacombs, incredible. Can you imagine 6 or 8 million Parisians under the ground, not in their original placement, and you walk through them and there's just the walls are lined with bones. It's just crazy. So that is the masterclass. 3 masterclasses, in fact. And let me just show you one of the bonuses that I'm giving you here. I'm creating these top 10 lists, and they're not your normal top 10 list. You know, it's not the top 10 best bakeries, the top 10 best fashion shops, you know, something like this. No, that's not my thing. This masterclass, if you remember, is called the Curious Connoisseurs Paris Masterclass. It's for people who want the odd stuff, the things no one else knows. You will know far more than anyone you know about Paris when you finish this, unless you happen to have a friend who has written an extremely in-depth book about all of the curiosities of Paris. So it's the Curious Connoisseurs Paris Masterclass. There's a reason for that. So the top 10s, there are some metro stations that are just wonderful, not like the rest. The bridges are amazing, crazy sculptures, but it's going to be strange sculptures, not just a standard sculpture that will come into my top 10. The metro signs, I'm absolutely obsessed by Paris metro signs. Some are so beautiful, and there are quite a few which are unique. You think that you know what they look like, you know, the standard ones. There are so many, but they're kind of hidden, that are not like the standard one. So there'll be a top 10 for that. Top 10 passages. Mysterious plaques. I'm obsessed by Paris plaques, the things you find on the wall, sometimes on the floor. And it's actually a bit of a game to go hunting them. I go hunting them with my camera. And I'm not the only one as well. So those are absolutely fascinating. So many, many interesting top 10s, which I will build with you. You'll see me building them. I'll say, you know, now this one will be a good one to go into this top 10. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you go to this page, which, as I said, is here, parissetmefree.com/master, you will find all of this. And to know if it's right for you, you can read this. You know, the Paris Masterclass is absolutely right for you if, and there's a bunch of stuff there which will give you some ideas. And here's another list, which, you know, I don't want you to do it if it's not right for you. So you can see if, you know, if you're in this list or the other one. I hope you're in this one. I would love you to join me on this. And why is Paris so special? So there's plenty of stuff to read there. Some of the things you'll discover, the layout of the city, architectural gems, its incredible history. All of this is illustrated by my street photography, my photography. So looking at this, you'll see all of these photographs are mine. So I spend my time taking photographs of Paris, trying to make them artistic, and writing about Paris. So this is what I do in life. There are people who do similar things, but not exactly the same as me. So, you know, if you like what I do, here I am, do the masterclass, and I think it'll be amazing. And we'll get to know each other, you know, through the live events each week. That's a bit about me. So it starts now, you know, join now, and you get, as I said, you get all 3 masterclasses for the price of 1. I think it says the same thing here. There's a frequently asked questions section as well there, if you want to have a look at that. Right, so I'll just go back to the top. So you get all 3 for the price of 1. So €97 for all 3 masterclasses. And you get all of the new material, which will come afterwards. Okay, so next year you will continue to get the Curio files. And I honestly intend to continue producing these until the end of my life. What else can I say? Oh, I just wanted to show you this. I wanted to show you, have a look at that. I've got tons of stuff like this, so much, and you'll be part of all of it. So this is one of the craziest, funniest little maps. Can you see what it is? It's Paris. 18th century, I think, 18th century map Paris, the districts were not the same as they are now. And there weren't, well, in fact, it changes. The numbers changed depending on certain things. You can see there is a 20th, Quartier 20. It's much closer into Paris. So Paris was much smaller, and it's not in the same place as the 20th today. Not at all the same. Here's a color version, which isn't necessarily clearer. And it looks like Paris just doesn't stop. It falls off the edge of the map. You know, there's none of this sort of, well, there is a wall. If you see, this is one of the earlier walls. But it looks like, you know, there's these things going out to the side as well. A lot of what is Paris today, which is built up and stuff. It was fields. It was fields. I mean, you know, places like the Champs-Élysées and the Champ de Mars. Well, Champ is field. This is one of my absolute favorites. Look at this beauty. This could go on your wall, couldn't it? And you can have a copy of this. You can have this copy. I don't know if I can get it any better quality, but I mean, even this you could print out. It's superb. Look at that. Every little house is shown, and it's all inside one of the walls, one of these famous walls I'm telling you about. There you are. You see, it's very close in, so it's much earlier than today, because Paris is much further out. The boundaries of Paris are much further out than in this map. But you can see it had water going around it in some places. There's some sort of river there, the Seine. Have a look at the Seine. How many islands can you see? Well, there's one there. There's another one, which actually has a river going across it. There's another one there. There's another one here. And if you look today, well, this is a crappy little map, of course, but there's only two. So that in itself was a history. There used to be more than 2 islands in Paris. This one here, I think this one used to be called the Cow Island, Île des Vaches. There just used to be cows on it, or sheep or something. And I'm not sure if every one of these little houses literally was a house. You know, if the person who drew it jumped up in the air to get a better view, or climbed to the top of the Eiffel Tower. No, maybe not. Yeah, what a beauty that is. So I think I don't want to drag it out too much. Let me just show you that there are a huge number of resources that I can offer you, including my photographs, which I publish every day. This is not part of the masterclass. I mean, it's free for everybody. I publish it publicly. But if you go to my website, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏.com, in the Chronicles section, you've got 6 years of photographs with texts. And in there, there's a huge amount of Paris curiosities as well. So I think that is, what else is there? Yeah, I showed you that. And so I will call it a day. And if you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, please put them into the chat and I will answer you. I'm going to be doing these every day probably for the next few weeks until the end of January. Tell your friends, if you know anyone who would be interested, come and join us for this amazing adventure. It's my life's work. I'll make myself bigger. So these final words are more impressive that way. It's my life's work. I paint, I take photographs, I write, I do some poetry, I teach, coach people sometimes to be more creative. But this is my true passion, and it's the reason I'm in Paris. It's the reason I've been here for the last 30 years, is what I'm going to give you here. And I'm not going to hold back. You put your trust in me by joining me as a member, and I will give you everything I've got. Nothing held back, and we'll have a great time talking about Paris. And well, I hope to see you in Paris one day as well. So thanks for watching, and happy dreaming about Paris. Just I think you can click any button here. You know, click to join. There's buttons everywhere. Like join the masterclass, and join up. And I will see you very, very soon. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.